Shout out to Jack Galifianakis. We didn't steal the theme song. Hi, and welcome to this episode of Between Two Liriope. On today's episode, I've invited Melissa for a hard-hitting interview. Here's my sister, Melissa. Melissa, how are you today?
I am great. Thank you for asking.
What was it like growing up with Miguel?
It was entertaining. It was a lot of the Wizard of Oz. It was a lot of pretending and dancing and making up plays and just doing a lot of creative stuff like running the block. And when he...
What about that time when we recorded The Wizard of Oz?
And Michelle was the Tin Man.
On a VHS? Okay. So, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
I would be a tree with a strong Christian trunk with leaves on hot days that would hang over handicapped children. And I stole that from Drop Dead Gorgeous.
I know, I just watched it like a week ago.
Did you see the part where she dances, I love you, baby?
Yes, that's my favorite.
That was so good. I watch that I notice that that's a sign of anxiety, is doing things repetitively, and every night before I go to bed, I will watch an old movie that I've seen like that. Like I'll watch Billy Elliot.
I have movies that I sleep
Drop
to.
Dead Gorgeous, or like I always
like
put
I've already seen them a bunch of
familiar.
times and I won't necessarily pay attention to it, but it's on while I'm going to bed.
Right.
But now I set a
and
timer
I'll
so it
listen
goes
to
off
it and I'll kind of
have.
like laugh when I'm asleep and stuff. Like, but I notice that that's a sign of like that repetitive behavior is like usually.
Noted. Okay, so let's throw it back to the 90s and tell me about your favorite 90s jam.
Oh gosh, I love the 90s.
But in the 90s, what was your 90s jam? Like, I know you probably have a different musical taste of that period, but in the 90s.
No, like lately, my 90s jam I've been listening to, there's that guy running.
Yes, it is.
Lately, I've been listening to a lot of Tupac. I love Dear Mama, and I love Changes, and I love California Love.
Do you love Changes?
I do. It makes me cry. I think of Bruce Hornsby in the Range. And, you know, that was always a touching song. So
that is touching. What would you do if you were invisible for a day?
If I was invisible for a day, I would probably go visit my kids at school and just see what they were up to and how they were handling everything. And see. I know that's not very exciting, but that's probably what I would do, is I would go check up on my kids.
Maybe. That's a good thing. What is the dumbest way that you've ever been injured?
Do you have a time in mind, or have you heard of something recently?
You to tell me.
Okay.
Your
Other day, I fell off my front porch because I was trying to give this guy walking down the street water when it was like 100 degrees, and I fell off my broken step of my porch and hurt my ankle really bad.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was crazy.
How much of that story is true?
I don't know.
Like 45, 50, 75, 100?
100.
Oh, just kidding. It kind of sounds like it could be made up, but... Why are manholes round?
Why are manholes? Because men are round?
Is that true?
I mean, I think some of them are.
Okay. I don't know. We just have...
Why would they be square?
I don't know. Like I said, I think I'm going to stick to asking the questions. What do you think about when you're alone in the car?
What do I think? I usually sing when I'm alone in the car. I usually sing 90s music when I'm alone in the car.
That's cool. That's cool. If you were a man for a day, what would be the first thing you'd do?
If I were a man for a day, I don't know. I would not be a man for a day. I don't know.
That's an answer. What's the funniest thing that you've seen a kid do?
Oh gosh, one of the funniest things I've ever seen a kid do was Ella had this little like wound on her hand, and she put like 20 band-aids on it at once, and she couldn't even close her hand because it was so big. I thought that was pretty great.
That is pretty funny.
And Van does funny stuff all the time. He's always doing something.
Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
I would rather fight one horse-sized duck.
And how do you think you would defeat that duck?
I'd rip off its quacker and...
That's not good. That's not good TV. I'm just kidding. If you had a warning label, what would it say?
It would say, step back, you don't know me like that.
That works. If I had to give your eulogy, what do you think I would talk about?
You would talk about all the dances and plays we made up. Yes, you would talk about Mr. Grinch and
I would actually...
Can.
Oh, Melissa. If I did have to talk about your eulogy, I would probably talk about how caring you were and how you always give to other people. And about how, like, when people need stuff on Facebook, you're like that person who's like, hey, we have a community thing going that we could all help out. That's going to be one of those things on the closed captioning where it says the wrong thing first and then goes back to the right thing, and then I tell the whole story, and then people are like, when you explain your jokes, it's not funny. And I'm like, I know that already. I'm the one that told you that. In closing, I would just like to ask you, what is your favorite beer?
My favorite beer is basically, it's not very exciting because I know you guys are like connoisseurs of like interesting beers.
Oh, my followers, they are.
It's not very bougie. But
ooh, you could just call bougie, guys.
I like a lot of the time I just drink Clamato.
Oh, that's something. That's definitely something. So
but
that's cool.
I don't drink very often, so.
Well, neither do I, but just when I film videos and I only have like 10, so that's not a lot.
No, not.
And some of them aren't even drinking videos, so that's also a thing too. All right, well, that's today's show. Thank you, Melissa, so much for coming on it.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. It was nice.
Like and subscribe.